In today's episode, I want to talk about the things that I do not like about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. And just to show that I am balanced in my views, I have made a separate video where I talk about the things that I do like about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. The first thing that I do not like about this device is that it is a fingerprint magnet, whether it's on the large inner display or the front outer display. The only protection you get is on the back because it is of a matte finish. So if you're going to rock this without a case, you're going to need some kind of microfiber cloth to keep cleaning it. One way you can protect the outer display is by getting a case. I've got one here. I've taken it off for this video. See, this is for the front and this is for the back. What I like about this one case for the back is that because there's a slight hump on the cameras on the back here, once it's inside here, it is recessed, so whenever you lie it on a flat surface, it will never rock. So that's really useful. The other thing I do not like about this device is that because you can use an S Pen, especially on the inner display, but what I do not like about it is that there is nowhere within the body of the device where you can insert the S Pen. For example, like my Note 20 Ultra, I thought I had it around here somewhere, but that's how it should be, like the S22 Ultra and the Note 20 Ultra, where you can put an S Pen inside the body, because whether you buy the S Pen Pro, as I have here, or the Fold Edition, look, it's two separate parts, and the chances of you misplacing this and or losing it are very high. And I'm pretty sure once you lose it once, you're gonna love to go and buy another one. And I'm sorry, but for $1,800 brand new, this should be inserted in the device. And what grates me even more, you have to pay separate for the S Pen. Seriously? Samsung? No. Like your Note 20 Ultra and your S22 Ultra, the S Pen should be within the body of the device. So again, that's something that really needs addressing. And again, it doesn't need to be as big as this, because the one on the S22 Ultra, the Note 20 Ultra, and further back, the Note 10 Plus, those S Pens are small, so they don't need to be as chunky as this, but there has to be a way where it needs to be inserted in the body of the device. So Samsung, if you're watching and listening, that's really important. Right, the other thing I do not like about this is that you have a gap. If I can lift this off the device, yeah, there is this gap there in the middle. I don't know, it just makes me feel really uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, even when I rock this with a case, you can still see that gap. That does make me nervous. And I'm not someone that I don't need to take this to the beach or anywhere, but I'll give you an example. Even when you have a case on this, you will still see that gap. And I'm always nervous, so I have to nurse this thing carefully. So for example, if I put it in a bag, I have to make sure that the bag pretty much doesn't have any dust particles, because it gets inside there very easily. Scary. And I think what Samsung need to do is to look at the competition, like Xiaomi, Vivo with the Vivo X Fold, and the Vivo, I think they've got a new one out, I think it's the Vivo Fold Plus, and the Xiaomi Mix Fold 2, those close flat. So again, I think Samsung really need to look at those, and they say for peace of mind, because again, this is an expensive device, and to think that you have to keep nursing it because dust particles and whatever can get inside there, yeah, it makes me very nervous indeed, I have to say. It really does. The other thing that annoys me, that gets on my nerves with this device, is that it's great that you can use the S Pen, but why only for the inner display? To me, you should be able to use the S Pen on the outer display. And the reason why I say that is because the keyboard is so tiny. It really is. It's so tiny. And unless you've got very tiny fingers, I mean, I don't consider myself to have big fingers, but unless you've got really tiny fingers, you're going to struggle to type on this thing. Seriously, it's not right. Let me try and pull up the keyboard here so you can see it is really tiny. But if you were able to use the S Pen on the outer display, that would really help. And the other thing I forgot to mention, let me do it while I just remembered as well, it's just come to mind, is if you rock this with a case, as I do, I said I've only taken it off for this video, is that it makes it even tougher, especially to perform certain functions on this. But if you're able to use the S Pen on the front display, I'm not saying it will make it easier, but I think it just will make things a lot easier. That's what I found anyway. But without being able to use the S Pen on the front display, that's not good. To me, that's a backward step. So again, you know, these are points for Samsung, if they're watching or listening, to take note. You should be able to use the S Pen on the outer display, especially given how small and narrow it is. So that should be something for future iteration for sure. The other thing with this device is that I've tried, but there's no getting any way around it. It is a heavy device. This is what, 271 grams? And yes, you could argue that's the trade-off for having a folding phone, and I do accept that. I do accept that 100%. And I still think it could be lighter for sure. Again, like I said, I do accept the fact that yes, that's a trade-off. You cannot expect to get a folding phone that, you know, will be probably thinner than this. But here's what I'm going to put to you. If you've ever seen the Microsoft Surface Duo, it is, when closed, it is thin, it is thickness, it is still slimmer than this. And that, for me, is a work of art. So yeah, you could argue there's some things that they don't have on that device, which they do here, but I still, after seeing and using the Surface Duo, I can tell you that device, oh, I think I've got it right here, so let me just pull this over. Ah, what a stroke of luck. Here we go. That was totally untimed. So this is the Surface Duo, so let me just try and put those together. Okay, you have to remember this has a case on it, but look at that. I mean, it is superb. It really is. Sorry, let me bring that down so you can see that. And this bumper case makes it sort of thicker than what it is, but it is fantastic. And again, lightweight, pretty much closes flat there. Okay, you can see a tiny bit of the edge there, but again, because I've got the bumper display on, so that just proves the point that I'm making, that yeah, it can be slimmer and lighter for the Fold edition, for at least an upcoming Fold edition. But again, I'll applaud Samsung for getting the Fold series to the stage where it's at. But like I said, this is very heavy, and as a result, it is bulky. And then, not to add, when you add the case on top as well, it feels even more bulky. And because it's bulky, sometimes it can be difficult to handle. Now, I don't have it with me, but okay, I've gone away and I found the part that I was looking for, and that's this part here, which slides neatly onto the side of the case, and it houses the S Pen Fold edition. But because I decided to go for the S Pen Pro, which is too thick to fit inside here, so I slide this out and I totally remove this part here. And I can tell you, when you have it on like this, it makes the device awkward to hold for any length of time. Anything from more than about a minute or two, I feel really uncomfortable. But when I remove this part here, yes, then it makes the device easier to hold. So again, something to keep in mind if you're thinking of purchasing a case for this device. Again, you may be quite happy with that, but I find it really difficult, and I don't consider myself to have extremely large hands. All right. Despite this device having a gorgeous 7.6-inch inner display, the one thing that really irks me the most is the outer screen, because it is way too narrow. Let me just put my pin off camera. And as a result of it being so narrow, it makes it really difficult to type. I'm finding it virtually impossible. And again, as I reiterated, as a result of this narrow screen, I have to use this as a secondary device. This cannot be my daily driver, so hence why I still use my Note 20 Ultra, because again, this screen is too narrow. And I should say, even on the current Fold 4, where yeah, they've increased it by 3mm, it is still too narrow. This device needs to be good 6.5 inches. If they can get it as close to a Candy style phone as possible, obviously you don't want it to be 6.8 or 9 inches. If you can get it to 6.5 inches, then I think this is a hit. And you might argue, well, this is fine, there's no need to increase the size and whatever. Again, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but I can tell you, having used this here, this is the Microsoft Surface Duo. This is a joy. I mean, this is just one side. You can see you have no issues typing on this thing. Let's pull up a keyboard. Look at that. Look at that. That is night and day. Now, I'm not suggesting that Samsung should make their front display this size. No. But they still need to get it to about maybe 6.5 inches, and I think that will be the ideal. And it can be done because look at the competition. You've got the Vivo X Fold, which I believe they've got a new one. I think it's the Vivo Fold Plus. You've got the Xiaomi Mix Fold 2. You've got the Oppo Find N. So you can see when they close the device, it looks really nice, and you can still use the outer display. But this, no. This is not feasible. Even just look at the S22 Ultra, Note 20. Look at all the other candy bar style phones that Samsung have made. You can type on them. And what really grates on me with this device is that this is their most expensive device, but yet it's got a really tiny front display for typing. So again, that's something Samsung definitely need to work on for upcoming iterations for sure. But again, I just sort of pull up my Surface Duo. You can see that there's a big difference. Again, just to reiterate, I don't want it to be as wide as this. I'll be honest, personally, I wouldn't mind. And in fact, I find it really simple to hold. But yeah, this definitely needs to be improved. I say the ideal maybe 6.5 inches in terms of the width. That would be perfect. Obviously, moving on from that, I think we can all agree that the cameras on this device is not in keeping with a flagship, their most expensive flagship device. The cameras on the S22 Ultra are better than this. And that's, for me, that's a no-no. So I think, maybe Samsung was so focused on other areas of the device that they thought, maybe we'll leave that for a future iteration. But definitely, my main point is the cameras on this device really need to be better than this. It really does. Another gripe for me, especially with this device, is that you do not have micro SD support. And I think for such an expensive device, it should come with a micro SD support for a couple of reasons. One reason for sure, you may be purchasing this device, and let's say you're someone who can probably only afford the 256GB model, you may have this phone for 3 years, and in that time, if you're someone that takes a lot of photos and videos like I do, you'll free this thing up very quickly. You could argue that you can go for cloud storage, but for someone like myself, I want to be able to transfer the stuff very easily from the device to a computer. Nothing better than having expandable storage like on my Note 20 Ultra. Once I have that, I can take photos, mainly videos, shoot videos, whatever, till my heart is content, because I know I have that space. But when this is full up with the internal storage, you're left wondering, have I been sold a ringer? Paid all that money for the device, no expandable storage. So again, that's something that needs to be looked at, and definitely, again, I'm not a specialist in making these phones, but I believe that that's something that should be included on future iterations. And again, yes, you could argue that there aren't any foldables out there with expandable storage, but hey, that's what the bar is there for. You set the bar. Okay, can somebody make a device with expandable storage? Because everybody else isn't doing it doesn't mean that Samsung shouldn't be looking into it. That's why you have research and development departments. So definitely, I think expandable storage is ideal. Should be standard on these devices. Again, considering how much you're paying for them. And I think, last but not least, there is no headphone jack on this device. And for purists like myself, I think headphone jacks should be on pretty much, well, especially on this device. Again, you have it on other devices, even though they're being phased out. Look at the Sony Xperia series. They have, well, at least I'm aware of, up to the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, they have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Yes, it's not a folding phone, but to me, irrespective of whether it's a folding phone or a candy style phone, you should have a headphone jack. And again, yes, you could argue that why not just get a pair of wireless earbuds? But again, we are all different. Everybody wants wireless earbuds, and also people have classic cars and stuff where just throw the dongle in the box, which Xiaomi do, and you can easily use a 3.5mm pair of headphones with the device. Well, those were the things I did not like about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. And guess what? I'm still smiling. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? That's the whole idea of this podcast, where we can have a debate and talk about things. If you've got any questions or comments, do not hesitate to raise them in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to respond. Well, that pretty much completes this video. My name is Shola. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another episode. Peace.